GE is in the process of shedding divisions to get back to the basics of its core business. So this includes selling a majority stake in NBC Universal to Comcast. For more on what the media sector is likely to look like after this, we are joined by Sterne Agee analyst Heymann. Nick, always glad to talk to you. Thanks for coming in, especially dark and early on this Monday morning. Post-Thanksgiving, it's a little mean, but we're glad you're here.
No problem.
So is it fair to say that what happens between Comcast, GE, and Vivendi is all about time and price?
Pretty much. There's a contingent deal right now with the transmission distribution acquisition that GE is trying to secure, that Areva is selling. And if that isn't sorted out today in their favor, it may go to Alstom and to Schneider. That would free up, maybe more financial flexibility for GE to pursue more aggressively talks with Vivendi. Vivendi wants a little more.
What do you think is the most likely scenario here? I mean, it seems like GE going to be selling between 75, 80%. Then they get, what, 49% of this combined entity. But the wild card here is Vivendi, right? What if they decide with their 20%, hey, we want to do an IPO? I mean, that's been suggested.
They can do an IPO. They can shut it down. I mean, nobody wants to do an IPO because you then have to break out all the different operating components of NBC
So that's unlikely
Universal.
In your view?
Yeah, the valuations in the market are, not very good right now on peer basis. And secondly, by divulging, how the studio has or hasn't done well, how the networks and the Leno show hasn't worked particularly well to help the news and the networks earnings, that would probably detract from the underlying value of the entity. So I don't think, that's a bluff card for both sides. No one wants to go there.
Nick, your concern here is GE. That's the company you follow. Just how high are the stakes here for GE? How badly does it need to do a deal to offload NBC Universal?
I just think it realizes, just like Oprah's realized, the traditional network, television is really something that's kind of like a lot of newspapers. It's hard to reverse. And I think that they realized that, particularly in light of this experiment with Leno for the 10 to 11 o'clock primetime slot. And it looked initially to be a great way to save money, and they've lost a lot of ratings that has really impacted the news and the Tonight Show and the Late Night Show, and so that's really had a lot of impact.
Is there anything about the way that GE has handled all these negotiations so far that makes you more pessimistic about the company's leadership? I mean, some people have been very critical, saying, look, they essentially came out and are announcing a fire sale. Like, that can't be good.
No, I think what they've tried to do is certainly make sure everybody knows where this is going, the direction. The direction is it's definitely probably going to go forward. Obviously, they've got to placate, Vivendi and get their permission to do it. There's going to be a loss, in value associated with this transaction. It won't be a realized, it'll be an unrealized loss, but it's pretty substantial.
Should GE, though, have had more of an indication of what Vivendi wanted before this somehow got leaked to the press?
That's why it was so strange to have basically all your cards put down before you start betting.
Public.
Yeah, it's very public. So you're trying to make sure that you don't have the leverage to get the right terms from Vivendi and from your partner Comcast.
Is $500 million, is that all we're grappling over?
I think so, but it doesn't sound like much. But given how many other draws there are on the capital of the company, it's not inconsequential.
I wonder how you could be more pessimistic given the fact that you've got to sell on the stock and expect the price to drop some 25%. But let me put it to you this way. What's the most optimistic case for General Electric with about 45 seconds?
Well, I think right now the biggest issue, you listen to the whole thing about Dubai over the last few days. And Dubai, if it's, to borrow somebody, I think, paraphrase somebody over the weekend, 3 words, real estate. And real estate is definitely a big part of GE Capital. And that's the commercial side is the part that is right now probably under the greatest duress. So, we are seeing GE focus back on its core, but we still got lots more to sort out, I think, over in the capital front.
Okay, well, maybe you'll come back and talk to us a little bit more about that. That would be a great conversation. In the meantime, Nick, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Nick came in there from Sterne Agee.